So in this video, I want to go through some examples of finding percentages of quantities. Now, I'm going to go through these in several different methods as I go, really because it's down to what method you are happiest with, but also for the first two, I'm going to be spotting actually those percentages are nice fractions, okay? So let's start off with number one. We've got 25% of 500. So let's go through probably the easiest way first. The easiest way is to know that 25% is 1/4. So 25% of 500 is the same as asking what is 1/4 of 500. Now you could do this as 500 divided by 4 using short division, or you can do it as dividing through by 2 and then dividing through by 2. So half of 500 is 250, half of 250 is 125. So I know the answer is going to be 125. Okay? So other possible methods that you might have used for this would be thinking 25% is 0.25 and doing 0.25 times by 500. So a little bit of long multiplication here. Nothing wrong with doing it this way. 5 times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 5. Bring in a 0, 2 times 0, 2 times 0, 2 times 5 is 10. And add those two results together, we're going to get 0, 0, 5, 2, 1. Two numbers to the right of the decimal point, and so you get your 125. Okay? So you could do it that way. Alternatively, you could say, well, 25% is the same thing as 10%, 10%, and 5%. Now, 10% of 500 would be 50. 10% again is 50. 5% is half of 10%, so that'd be 25. Add those three results together, we get 5. 5 plus 5 plus 2 is 12. And so that's 125. So any of those methods would be perfectly fine, but probably the easiest was spotting 25% was 1/4 and doing it that way. Right, number 2. 20% of 750. So first thing you could do is spot, well, 20% is the same as 1/5. So this is 1/5 of 750. Now, all I need to do then is do 750 divided by 5. So 5s into 7 goes once, remainder 2. 5s into 25 are 5, remainder 0. So it's 150. Okay, so that's my answer. That's probably the easiest way through. Alternatively, you could convert it into a decimal and do 0.2 times by 750. So 750 times by 0.2. 2 zeros, 2 5s are 10, 2 7s are 14, plus the 1 is 15. We've got one number to the right of the decimal point, and so we get our 150. So you could do it that way. Alternatively, you could go, well, 20% is 10% and 10%. Well, 10% of 750 would be 75. So we've got two lots of that, add them together. 5 and 5 is 10. 7 plus 7 plus 1 is 15. And there's my 150. So any of those methods are probably same level of difficulty, I would say. Right, number 3. 16% of £32. Now, 16% isn't really a nice fraction to deal with. It's 16 over 100, which is 8/50ths, which is 4/25ths. So I could do it that way, do 4/25ths times 32. So divide by 25 and times by 4. I don't think many people are going to tackle it that way. I would anticipate that the majority of people would think of this as either as 0.16 times £32, or break the 16% up into separate percentages and add them all together. So I'm going to do it the decimal way first and then show the breaking up. So £32 times 0.16, so 32 times by 0.16. So 2 times 6 is 12, 3 6s is 18, plus the 1 is 19. Bring in a 0. 1 times 2, 1 times 3. Add those two results together. We're going to get 2, 11, so 512. And we've got two numbers to the right of the decimal point, so it's going to be 5.12. So we're in pounds, so £5.12. Okay? So that's how you could do it with a decimal. Now 16%, you could do it as 10% and 5% and 1%. Work out what each of those are and then add them together. So 10% of £32 will be £3.20. 5% will be half of that, so £1.60. And 1% will be a tenth of that, which is 32 pence. So 0.32. Add them all together. We've got 0 plus 0 plus 2. 2 plus 6 plus 3, which is 11. So 1 carry the 1. 3 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 is 5. Bring the decimal point down, and we've got our £5.12. Okay, so you could break it up into the separate percentages and add them all together and do it that way. Right, last one. We have 37% of £85. So again, you could think of this as 37 over 100 times by 85. So you divide the £85 by 100 and then multiply the answer by 37. That's essentially going to be as difficult as multiplying the decimal by the number. So it would be the same as saying, well, it's the same as 0.37 times £85. So if we do it that way, we've got 85 times by 0.37. So 5 sevens are 35. 8 sevens are 56. Plus the 3 is 59. Bring in a 0. 3 5s are 15. 3 8s are 24, plus the 1 is 25. Add those two results together. We'll have 5, 14, 11, and 3. And we've got two numbers to the right of the decimal point, so 31.45. So this is £31.45. Okay, so that's one way. Or we could split the 37% up into 10%, 10%, 10%, so that's 30%. That's 35%. And then we need another two 1%. So 10% will be £8.50. You can see this kind of gets a bit mucky doing it this way. Not the way that I would think is particularly good for long-term problems. Then we've got to find 5%. Now, some people might actually end up finding 1% 7 times here and adding them all together. This is where real problems start to lie, because the adding together becomes quite long and arduous, and it's prone to error. So 5% is half of this, so £4.25. Some people will be confident doing that. 1% will be 85 pence, so 0.85 and 0.85, and then I've got to add them all together. So 5, 10, 15, we've got 5, 10, 15, 17, 25, 33, 34, decimal point, 8, 16, 24, 28, 31. And so that's your £31.45 that way. I mean, I would be saying that if you're confident getting that every time, doing repeated addition, really I would think about extending it up to making sure you can do your multiplication. Okay, and it's all down to confidence in your times tables. All of this is based on good times table knowledge.